All right, so I think I neglected to tell you that this psalm, Psalm 55, is a lamenting psalm and an imprecatory psalm. All right, so the lamenting psalm, remember, that's when it's psalm written for God's deliverance, okay, from enemies, and a cry out to God to deliver the psalmist from enemies. And the imprecatory psalm is was written to invoke God's anger against the enemies. All right, and so you can hear all the lamenting that's been going on for the first 5 lines. All right, and so now this is what he's saying. So after he said in 4 and 5 that says, "My heart is severely pained within me, and the terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling have come upon me, and horror has overwhelmed me." In line 6, "And I said, oh, that I had wings like a dove, for then I would fly away and be at rest. Indeed, I will wander off and remain in the wilderness, Selah." All right, and so he's saying that if he had wings like a dove, he'll take off. All right, just so he can have some peace and some rest. And then he said he will wander off, far off, not just around the corner. He want to get up out of there. All right. Then he says, "and remain in the wilderness." And then he did the Selah. He rested right there. Okay. Like to say, that sure sounds nice. Okay. And then look at line 8. I will hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. So he's saying that he would hasten his escape from the windy storm and the tempest. That's like terrible storms, and in this case, furious storms that he just want to hasten away. All right, let's move into our next stanza, starting in line 9. "Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go around it on its walls. Iniquity and trouble are also in the midst of it. Destruction is in its midst. Deceit and guile do not depart from its streets." All right. So going back to line 9. So it says, "Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues." So he's asking the Lord to destroy and divide. He's asking the Lord to destroy and divide their tongues, that divide their speech or their counsel that's coming together against him. All right. And he's asking God to destroy that. And so then he says, "For I have seen violence and strife in the city." All right. And so that refers us to Jeremiah 6:7. That says, "As a fountain wells up with water, so she wells up with her wickedness. Violence and plundering are heard in her. Before me continually are grief and wounds." And so this is talking about how Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. All right. And so let's read up to 6. It says, "For thus has the Lord of hosts said, hew down trees and build a mound against Jerusalem. This is the city to be punished. She is full of oppression, and her midst. As a fountain wells up with water, so she wells up with her wickedness. Violence and plundering are heard in her." All right. And then it says, "Before me continually are grief and wounds," or sickness and wounds. All right. And then so this refers us to Isaiah 57:20. That says, but the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt." All right, so that mud and dirt. All right. Okay. Let me see for sure. All right. Okay, so back at line 55. back at Psalm 55, all right, line 10. Day and night they go around it and it's on its walls. So he said, what is going around it? All right, so remember in line 9, destroy, Lord, and divide their tongues, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. All right, day and night they go around it on its walls. So they talking about they're going around the city on its walls. Iniquity and trouble are also in the midst of it. Destruction is in its midst. So he's telling God all the things that are in the middle of the city and what's going on. Deceit and guile do not depart from its streets. All right, and so David is telling God all the things that are happening in the midst of the city. All right, and then so what we're going to do, we're going to break here and we'll pick it up in line 12.